just because you think you can make $1 profit on it after it sells, sometimes the price drops, sometimes you don't sell everything, and we're bad at that. We look at it and, hey, I can make $1, throw it in your cart.
What's going on, everybody? Steve here, Rake and Profit over at rakeandprofit.com. We just left Savers and we made a rookie mistake.
Really rookie mistake.
Yeah, Caleb Roth and I, we went out to have some lunch/dinner and we forgot our scanners.
Well, we weren't planning to source, but rookie move, because ABS, always be sourcing. And we forgot, and I went in with my phone camera. I was afraid we're gonna get recognized. Well, Steve really. And we just look like a bunch of noobs, so we have to correct that. We're gonna go get our scanners.
But what we want to talk about in this video, because we were actually having a discussion about this as we were walking back to the car from Savers, is how inexpensive or
how low can you go?
How low can you go in terms of a profit for a book? So if you're out sourcing books, what's your lowest profit that you'll purchase a book for? And I'd love to know, before we even get into this video, will you buy books that sell for a $3 profit or a $1 profit? Let us know. 50 cents, right? So Caleb, what's your take on this? How low will you go when it comes to books, and why? What's your mentality?
Well, I'm data driven, so we've actually looked at our numbers. And when we started, my wife and I, apps were not profit based. We were talking about this. And this was the good old days where an $8 Prime book would net you about $4 after fees. So we kind of had a floor price of $7 to $7.50. We wanted to spend $1 and turn it into $3. We were kind of greedy, right? But we also wanted to value our time, because your time is the same to list a book, whether it's a $10 profit or a 50-cent profit. It's still a book. You still have to put a sticker on it, put it in a box. So, we used to do that, hey, we can spend $1. Well, if we can turn it into $1.50 and the rank is 10,000, it's almost guaranteed. Heck yeah, we'll do it. But we started doing that, and then I said, you know what? It feels like we're spinning our wheels. We're listing a lot of books. We were trying to find 100 books a week back then when we first started out. We're listing a lot of books, and it felt like, the 80-20 rule. It felt like a very small number of our books were netting a really high percentage of the profit. But we kept playing the game of, hey, well, I'll spend $1 and turn it into $2. So that's fine, we'll do it. So we actually busted out our numbers, we went and looked at it, and one thing that, and I'm guilty of this too, we don't talk about it enough. Not every book is going to sell. You're gonna sell 75 to 80% of the books that you list, assuming that they're decently ranked. My average rank from thrift stores, I'm a little higher than some, but it's probably around 700,000 to 900,000. It's pretty high.
I'm similar, maybe a little lower. I
don't mind some long tail stuff. 2-3 million doesn't really scare me very much. So we went back and looked at our numbers, and we found out, I'm gonna butcher, I don't have the exact numbers in front of me, but it was 20% of our units, so 1 out of 5 books that we bought, the overall net profit, by the time you factored in books that didn't sell and ones that got returned and ones you had to pay to dispose of, 20% of the units, 1 out of 5, was only netting like 3% of our profits.
Wow. So
we realized that basically we were working 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. Of course we worked weekends, but Monday to Friday, we could essentially take 1 day off. We'd be working way more efficiently. We could work 20% less, and 3% of our profits would be impacted. I.e., if you're making 50 grand a year, now that goes down to 48.5. You hardly notice. It's not even a big difference. So we said, okay, we got to bump our floor price from $7.50 to I think at the time it was $8, and we bumped it up to $10. Well, we went another 6 months and ran our numbers again, and it was the exact same phenomenon. Roughly 20% of the units were 4 or 5% of our profits. And so again, we bumped up that price. And what that does, a couple things. One, it forces you to just get better books. And one of the challenges is too, if you can optimize for one thing. So if you're trying to say, hey, I need to find 200 books a week, by the end of the week, if you're not hitting your goal, you're gonna start accepting books with very slim profits just because you're trying to get that goal and feel good about it. It's really not about the top line. It's not about how many books you find. It's about profits. And so one really good way, especially if you're a solopreneur, even if you're a bulk seller, I challenge you to look at your numbers, and there might be an opportunity to stop selling those really inexpensive books. Because just because you think you can make $1 profit on it after it sells, sometimes the price drops, sometimes you don't sell everything, and we're bad at that. We look at it and, hey, I can make $1, throw it in your cart.
So how do you do that? What do you actually have to do in order to break this down and kind of get those numbers in your own business?
Well, I'm biased because I have a tool called the tracking spreadsheet that kind of helps slice and dice it. But it's a matter of taking a look at your inventory and saying, and look at your sales reports from Amazon too. $8 books now might net you $1. They might net you $3. It depends on the weight. So basically, a $10 book might net you $2 of profit. So Amazon takes 80% of it.
Yeah.
A $20 book, Amazon only takes about $8 right now with the current FBA fees on a 1 pound book. So they're only taking 40%. And on a $100 book, Amazon only takes about 20% in fees. So the more expensive books you sell, the more money goes in your pocket and the less goes into Amazon. That's because there's a fairly large fixed fee in the Amazon, the way that the FBA fees work. So what it means is you have to look at your numbers and realize what that is. And bulk sellers might go, yeah, I already bought the books. I should just list anything I can make a quarter on. And I would actually challenge you to look at your numbers as well. I've looked at several different bulk sellers' numbers, and in many cases, 40% of their units might only make up 4% of the profits. So they're spinning their wheels, listing a lot of books, trying to make a quarter or 50 cents. And by the time that the price drops on some and not everything sells, it's just not worth the effort.
Yeah.
And I know it's not their time, but it's their business, and their business should be more efficient, in my opinion. So if you're a solopreneur, if it's just you and your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever it is, if you got just you or two people that you care about in the business, I challenge you to look at your numbers and maybe raise that floor profit. If you're normally looking for books you can make $1, bump it up to $1.50 or $2. You'll end up getting fewer books, but your profits may actually not suffer as much as you think.
Nice. Awesome. Well, hopefully you guys found value in this video, and hopefully this answered some of your guys' questions. Feel free to play around with it. Take a look at your numbers, dive into some of the data and see what it's saying. It's not going to lie to you.
It won't lie, and you got to be willing not to be emotionally tied to it, because it's hard to walk away. You go, hey, I can make $1.50. I can spend $1, turn it into $2.50, so $1.50 profit. And if the numbers say that it's a lot of units and not much profit, it's not very efficient, cut it.
And also take the time as well. I know we were talking about this behind the scenes. Time how long it takes for you to list books. Figure out how long it takes you. What's your time worth?
Yeah, if you can list, let's say you can list 60 books in an hour, that's 1 book a minute, and you value your time at $30 an hour, you better be making 50-cent minimum per book just to cover your hourly wage.
Yeah,
so different ways to look at it. And again, this isn't a one-size-fits-all. Just because you could go the opposite end of the spectrum and say, well, I should only list $50 books and higher. No, that's not what we're saying, because there's very few of those out there. So just take a look at it, see if there's some sort of leverage you can take advantage of, and if you can work 20% less and hardly notice in the bottom line, good on you.
Yeah, so let us know your opinion as well. We're always here to learn, and there's more than one way to skin a cat. So drop a comment down below. Let us know your guys' thoughts. And if you guys want to follow Caleb, he is on YouTube, on Facebook, Instagram. He has a blog as well, which is
thebookflipper.com.
I'll leave links below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. See you in the next one. Peace.